All right, let's talk Whoop versus Apple Watch. And look, forget the spec sheets, forget the feature-by-feature breakdowns for a minute. If you think this is just about picking a new gadget, you're kind of missing the real story here. This isn't just a product comparison, it's a battle of philosophies. We're going to dive into how two of the biggest names in tech looked at the exact same thing, the human body, and came to completely, wildly different conclusions about how we should connect with it.
And this quote, this really is the key to the whole thing. We need to stop thinking fitness band versus smartwatch and start thinking health intelligence partners. It's a total reframe. Because on one side, you've got this silent, dedicated analyst, the one crunching all the numbers behind the scenes. And on the other, you have this incredibly capable, do-it-all assistant, just sitting there on your wrist, ready for whatever you throw at it.
So see, that's the real choice we're all making here. It's so much bigger than just a device. You're actually choosing a vision for how technology should fit into your life, into your health. And the big question we're going to try and answer is, which one of these very powerful visions is the right one for you?
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First up, that fundamental divide in philosophy. Then, we'll see how form follows function. After that, we'll get into the intelligence within, talk about the price of partnership, and finally, we'll figure out how to choose your health partner.
All right, Section 1, a fundamental divide in philosophy. So let's start at the very, very beginning with the core conflict. Think about it. Before a single circuit was designed, before a single line of code was written, a fundamental decision was made, and that one decision would dictate pretty much everything that followed for both of these products.
And here it is, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you've got Whoop. Think of it as your dedicated, almost obsessive, personal analyst. Its one and only job is to understand your body. Then you've got the Apple Watch, which is the ultimate integrated hub. It's this powerhouse computer for your wrist where, health is a huge feature, but it is far, far from the only thing it does.
Now, this is so important to get your head around because it completely reframes how you should think about Whoop. You're not really buying the band. The band is just the terminal that collects the data. What you're actually paying for, what you're subscribing to, is the service. It's the algorithm, that software brain that's working 24/7, analyzing your data and coaching you. So the band is basically free. It's the intelligence that has the price tag.
And Apple's philosophy? It is the polar opposite. You are buying a stunning piece of hardware, an incredibly powerful one at that. It's a platform. Its value comes from its sheer, unbelievable versatility. It's your wallet, it's your phone, it's your map, and it's your health monitor. Health isn't the whole show for the Apple Watch. It's just one of the star performers. And honestly, this one single distinction is the first domino that makes everything else we're about to talk about fall perfectly into place.
Okay, moving on to Section 2. Form follows function. This is where it gets really interesting, because these big abstract ideas, service versus platform, they don't stay abstract for long. They have to become physical. They take shape in metal and glass and silicon right there on your wrist. But how do you actually do that? How does a philosophy become a physical thing? It's a great design question, right? And for both of these companies, the answer starts not with what they decided to put in, but with a really radical decision about what to leave out. And the most glaring example of this, of course, is the screen.
So you look at Whoop, and it's clear they made a very deliberate, very strategic choice. Zero distractions. No screen, no notifications, no buzzing. It's literally designed for you to put it on and forget it's even there, just silently collecting data in the background, 24/7. And then you have the Apple Watch, which is the complete opposite. It's this beautiful, vibrant, interactive screen. It is designed to be seen, to be touched, to be engaged with. It wants your attention.
And that one decision, screen versus no screen, it leads directly to maybe the most dramatic hardware difference of them all. Battery life. Just look at this chart. It's not even close. It's not a competition. Whoop gives you more than 2 weeks of battery. The Apple Watch, with all its incredible power, you're going to have to charge it every day. And it's so important to remember, this is not a design flaw by Apple. It is a direct, calculated consequence of their philosophy.
Here's why that matters so much. For Whoop's whole system to work, its whole analytical model, it absolutely needs an unbroken 24/7 stream of your data. Any gap, even taking it off to charge at night, it messes with the integrity of the algorithm. So that crazy long battery life, it wasn't just a nice-to-have feature, it was mission critical. Apple, on the other hand, made a different trade-off. They knowingly sacrificed that battery life for the gorgeous screen and that super-fast processor. They decided that all that on-demand power is worth the price of admission, which is charging it every single night.
Okay, Section 3, the intelligence within. We've talked about the hardware, but let's be real. The true battleground here isn't what's on your wrist. It's in the software, in the algorithm. It's all about what happens to your data after it's collected. And this, right here, is where their philosophies just completely split off into different universes.
And really, this whole data debate boils down to one simple concept. Whoop is prescriptive. It's designed to give you answers. It takes all this messy, complex data and boils it down into a simple, direct instruction. It lowers your mental workload. The Apple Watch, on the other hand, is descriptive. It gives you a fantastic toolkit of raw data, but it's on you to be the mechanic. You have to connect the dots, which naturally increases your mental workload.
So what does that actually look like in real life? Well, with Whoop, you wake up, you open the app, and it gives you one single number, your recovery score. It's either green, yellow, or red. It's basically a direct command. Go for it today, hey, take it easy, or dude, you need to rest. It even gives you a target for how much you should exert yourself and tells you the optimal time to go to bed. See, it's not just handing you data, it's handing you a game plan for your day.
Okay, now let's flip over to the Apple Watch. It's collecting all the same amazing raw data, your heart rate variability, your resting heart rate, your sleep stages, and it presents it all beautifully in the Health app. But here's the key difference. It doesn't, at least not natively, connect those dots for you. There's no single unified readiness score. Apple gives you all the tools, but you have to be the analyst. It's up to you to look at the trends and figure out, okay, what does this all mean for me today? All right, Section 4, the price of partnership. So we've covered the philosophies, the hardware, the brains behind it all, but now we got to talk about the money. What's the price of admission for one of these partnerships? Because, and make no mistake, this isn't a one-time purchase. It's an ongoing financial relationship, and they are structured in totally different ways.
So what we have here are two completely clashing economic models. Whoop is all about the subscription. You pay a recurring fee, and the hardware is just part of the deal. So the initial barrier to get in is pretty low, but it's a cost that just keeps on going. Apple, well, they use the classic model. You pay a pretty big chunk of change up front for the device. It's a higher hurdle to clear at the start, but once you've paid for it, it's yours. The core functions are yours for good.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks and look at the actual numbers. This table shows you the total cost of ownership over 3 years, which is a pretty typical lifespan for a device like this. And you can see, in year 1, Whoop looks like the clear winner, right? It's cheaper. But then, look what happens as we get into year 2 and then year 3. That recurring subscription cost really starts to stack up, and we hit this really interesting financial tipping point.
In fact, let's just boil it all down to one single number to make it super clear. Over those 3 years, you're going to pay around $717 for a Whoop membership. The Apple Watch, about $399. That is a difference of $318. So the question you have to ask yourself is simple. Is that continuous, prescriptive coaching service from Whoop worth that extra premium to you? And honestly, only you can answer that question.
Okay, this brings us to our final section, choosing your health partner. We've gone through the philosophies, the physical design, the data, the money. Now it's time to put it all together. We're going to help you figure out which one is right for you, based on who you are and what your goals are.
So first up, the competitive athlete. If this is you, your entire world is about finding those tiny little edges, those marginal gains, and making sure you don't overtrain. For you, the recommendation is definitely Whoop. And the reason is simple. That one single prescriptive recovery score is just invaluable for serious training. It gives you that clear, daily go or no-go that is just laser-focused on performance.
Okay, next up, the data-driven biohacker. You're the person who wants to quantify absolutely everything and run little experiments on yourself to see what works. For you, once again, the choice is Whoop. And the reason comes down to one thing, the journal feature. It is the absolute killer app. It lets you track all these different behaviors. Did you have caffeine? Did you meditate? And then it directly shows you how those things impacted your body's stats. It's the ultimate tool for self-experimentation.
But what if you're not a pro athlete or a biohacker? What if you're a general wellness seeker, maybe a recreational runner? Your goal is just daily motivation and convenience. In this case, the pendulum swings hard the other way. The clear winner is the Apple Watch. Those activity rings are just a genius motivational tool, and having the built-in GPS and all your metrics right there on your wrist makes it a way better companion for your daily activities.
Now for our fourth persona, the tech-savvy professional. Honestly, this one's kind of a no-brainer. Your life is all about seamless connectivity and productivity. The recommendation has to be the Apple Watch. For you, the main value is having that communication and productivity hub right on your wrist. The fact that it also has world-class health tracking, that's just a massive, massive bonus on top of a much bigger package.
And finally, what about the person with specific health concerns? Someone who's looking for a reliable safety net. Again, the recommendation points to the Apple Watch. Look, both can do an ECG, which is amazing, but Apple has this much broader suite of medically cleared safety features. We're talking fall detection, crash detection, things that really establish it as a more complete health guardian.
So, here we are, right back where we started. The choice really does come down to this: the analyst versus the assistant. Do you want that dedicated specialist working quietly in the background, just giving you simple, direct guidance? Or do you want that incredibly versatile, multi-talented assistant, always on and ready on your wrist, empowering you with an endless toolkit of features and connectivity?
And you know, in the end, the choice you make says something deeper about you. Because as this technology gets better and better at reading the super intricate signals of our own bodies, the most important question isn't what data can we get anymore. The real question is, what kind of conversation do we truly want to have with that data? And ultimately, what kind of conversation do we want to have with ourselves?